So, everybody today is talking about becoming your highest self. But here's the real question. Is that what Jesus taught? Did Christ come to help us become more successful versions of our ego? Or did he come to kill the false self completely so the real man God created could finally rise? Because there is a massive difference between self-actualization and spiritual transformation. Self-actualization says, I need to become who I want to be. Jesus says, you must be born again. And those are not the same thing. Now, to be fair, the idea of self-actualization is not completely wrong. It points to something real. Every man feels it. That deep internal pressure that says, I was made for more than this. That feeling is not always pride. Sometimes that is the soul remembering its assignment. You know you were not created just to consume, scroll, complain, and survive. You were made to build. You were made to lead. You were made to protect. And you were made to speak truth. You were made to serve God with strength, wisdom, discipline, and love. So yes, there is something inside man that wants to become complete. But the danger is this. Modern self-actualization often makes the self the final God. Jesus does not. Jesus does not say, find yourself and worship what you discovered. He says, deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. That is where the entire conversation changes. A lot of people think Jesus came to improve their personality, but Jesus came deeper than that. He came to expose the false self, the pride self, the wounded self, the performative self, the lustful self, the angry self, the insecure self, the version of you that was built by trauma, culture, fear, rejection, sin, and survival. That version of you may have kept you alive, but it cannot lead you into the kingdom. That is why Jesus says a man must be born again. Not polished, not rebranded, not motivated, born again. Because the old man cannot be optimized into righteousness. He has to be crucified. Now, hear me clearly, men. Jesus is not against you becoming strong. He is not against you becoming disciplined. He is not against you becoming wise, capable, mature, articulate, bold, skilled, educated, or prepared. Christ does not produce weak men. He produces surrendered men. There is a difference. A weak man has no power. A surrendered man has power under authority. That is the goal. Not ego, authority. Not self-worship, sonship. Not I am my own God, but I am becoming who God formed me to be. That is the Christ version of self-actualization. Not becoming your highest self. Becoming your truest self under God. Scripture talks about the hidden man of the heart. That means there is a deeper inner man beneath the surface identity. The world trains the outer man. God transforms the inner man. The world asks, how do you look? God asks, what are you becoming? The world asks, how much do you own? God asks, what owns you? The world asks, how many people follow you? God asks, do you follow me? That is the test, because the real self is not discovered through ego. The real self is revealed through obedience. Psychology may say, You need to fulfill potential. You need to fulfill your potential. The kingdom says you need to fulfill your calling. Those are close enough to confuse people, but different enough to change your destination. Potential can still be selfish. Calling must be surrendered. Potential says, I could become great. Calling says, I must become faithful. Potential asks, what can I achieve? Calling asks, what did God assign me to carry? And men, this is where peace comes from. Not from chasing every version of yourself you could become, but from obeying the one version God actually created you to be. This is why the cross matters. The cross is not where Jesus died. The cross is where the false self gets exposed. Every man has a cross. Your pride has to go there. Your addictions have to go there. Your bitterness has to go there. Your excuses have to go there. Your fear has to go there. Your need for approval has to go there. And the part of you that wants to be king without God, that has to go there too. Because the resurrection only comes after crucifixion. Everybody wants new life. Not everybody wants death to the old life. But Jesus does not offer transformation without surrender. So what does this look like in real life? It looks like discipline, prayer, controlling your tongue. It looks like telling the truth when lying would be easier. It looks like working when nobody claps, forgiving without becoming foolish, studying scripture, guarding your eyes, providing for your family, becoming emotionally stable, building skill. It looks like not letting the world program your mind. That is not just self-improvement. That is sanctification. That is the process of God making you whole. So, does Jesus want self-actualization? Yes, but not the counterfeit version. Not the version where you crown yourself. Not the version where your desires become law. Not the version where your wounds become your identity. Jesus wants something higher. He wants you restored, disciplined. He wants you truthful, youthful, and he wants you free. He wants the man God created to rise from underneath the man the world damaged. That is not self-worship, that is redemption. So men, do not just chase your highest self. Chase Christ. Because when you follow him, the false self dies. And the real man finally stands up. Discern the signs, seek the truth, walk in the light.